I am just tired of scheduling meetings and the email back and forth that goes up. I love a solution where someone can just go into my calendar, book that, and then confirm it. Or when we're meeting multiple people, they can just sort of tick which options they have. They can see what else everyone's ticked and send it. But there's also other options that I'm going to go through, like how to share your Outlook calendar so that anyone anywhere in the world can see when you're busy and when you're free all day. All of these options are pretty easy to use, and I'm going to go through them in this video. My name is David Benaim, and I produce videos about all kinds of business technology every week. So please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you want more on Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, Zoom, Teams, etc. All right, so let's get started. So when we're considering making meetings with someone else, we need to look at a few factors. Whether we're doing a one-to-one, and for that we're going to look at Microsoft Bookings, which comes included with every Office 365 account. Then Doodle, which is good for one-to-one, but also one-to-many is the main advantage, and Calendy, which is a third-party app that's really, really beautiful. I was using this for years before I recently switched to Bookings. Outlook has a couple of features. For example, if you're doing stuff internally, the scheduling assistant is great. I'll show you how to publish the calendar like I did. And also a chatbot style for one-to-one meetings. So key things to think about are ease of use versus how many features they have. Bookings is probably the most amount of features, but ease of use is not great. That I'll show you. And then what integrates well for online meetings. Currently, Zoom integrates with Calendy and Doodle, but not the Microsoft apps, whereas Teams integrates well with calendar.help and Bookings. And now that we're doing a lot of meetings online, that's kind of significant. So we're looking at factors like buffer time. That's really, really important, which time zone they're in and how that syncs. What the minimum lead time is, and how easy it is for people to reschedule. So Doodle. So here is doodle.com, which I tend to use for this one-to-many sort of meeting. So as you can see from a consumer's perspective, once you vote, let me do back to poll and I can vote again. I can then add a name and I can say this is now, and I can just choose either yes, this is kind of a maybe, if need be, and then I can just tick them there. When I'm done, I press send. The idea is tick all that are available. If you log in to Google or Office 365, you can sync it, and then it tells you which one you're unavailable in. And you can also, as the host, send meetings invites out when it's done. Pretty easy to set up. Just click create a new doodle, and then choose a title, location, which can be in one of these online meetings as well. Notice the Teams isn't there for now, but I imagine it'll be coming pretty soon. Google Hangouts is like Google Meets. They just renamed it recently. And then you can connect your calendar, but I'll click later. And then just choose which time slots you have. It by default sets up an hour. Just click on there. You can even have overlap times if you want, just by clicking in the little slot next to it. And then press continue. When you've chosen all the possible ones, choose from these options. The one that I like is this one, yes, no, if need be. You can choose whether you need to limit it, whether each person can just do one or multiple responses, and if it's hidden. And here you have extra features if you get the premium version of it. Generally, I would just press continue, then you need to enter your details, and then just send out the link, and people have the user experience that I showed you earlier. Eventually, you can send an email out with a calendar invite as well once it's confirmed. So I won't go through all those steps because it's pretty self-explanatory. So next, I have a couple of options I want to show you on Outlook. So this works if you have a Microsoft 365 email address. So the first one is how to publish your calendar. I showed you a preview of that. In order to do that, you need to go to Outlook on the web. You can't do this from desktop. Click on settings, search for publish. And then you can choose can view when I'm busy, or can view titles and locations, or can view all details. I would generally use this because you don't want people to know what you're doing. Then you just click the publish link and it shows you everything. Once the person has access to it, if I just go to the page, for example, it comes out like this by default, but the other person can change it to week view or day view. And this is just kind of useful for someone who wants to only see the time slots that you're available for a long period of time. If someone wants to book me for a day, I normally get them to click on this link and see it, and then see how I'm doing, which sort of full days I'm free for. It's not really like the earlier one that I showed you, which is a one-to-many relationship for people outside your organization. How to set a meeting inside your organization. This is super easy as long as you have Microsoft 365. Unfortunately, this doesn't work on Google. What you can do is you can go to More Options and then choose Scheduling Assistant. So then you can add an attendee that this person, Joe, has shared everything with me, whereas Craig has only done the default sharing of when he's busy. So by default, everyone inside your organization will be sharing it like this, but Joe has chosen to share extra features with me. And the top layer is just myself, so that's pretty straightforward what I can see. And this is some coding for what the different terms mean. Once I find something that I like, I can just choose it there and then send an invite to them using Outlook's invite feature. So just to show you, Outlook offline, Outlook desktop also has the scheduling system up here, and it looks pretty much the same as online. You can change the time zone if you put that as a preference, and the meeting can be done there, and you can add all your other meeting details as standard. So this next one works from Outlook or Google Calendar. And what it is this thing that you put in CC to an email, Cortana at calendar.help. You say, hey, David, for example, let's meet. Cortana, please liaise with David about a lunch meeting next week. So this uses AI to notify Cortana that she needs to send this out. So I'm going to send out this email, and then David is going to get an invitation from it. So over here, I have the raw invite that was sent. Cortana, please liaise with David about a lunch meeting next week. And then after that, you saw this come in. So I have this that says, hi, David. I'm helping David and I schedule a 1-hour meeting for you both. Here are some proposed times when David is available. So it has the time zone, and notice it's looked for lunch times because I said lunch next week. And it doesn't facilitate Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because probably I have marked myself as busy those times. So that is what's important here to note. Now I can say all times work, Monday only, or pick another time. I'm going to say all times work. Or you can also just edit it. You can even use natural language to type it. It's sending it to Cortana at calendar.help. It's not sending it to David. So I'm going to send that out. And then eventually Cortana will get that email, and then he will confirm the time and then send us both calendar invites of that time. So we'll see that come up in a second. Now, what I really don't like about this, and the reason why I think it's too limited and just does not work for me, because there is no aspect of buffer time. Buffer time for me is the most important thing that could happen here. Let's say that it books a lunch meeting with me on one side of the city at 12 till 1, and then another meeting at 1 p.m. on the nose back in my office. It just makes no sense that you can't allocate buffer time. And so the rest of the solutions that we're going to look at do have buffer time associated with them. So here I can see, hi David, no need to reply, just let you know that I've proposed the following times to them. Once I hear back, I'll add the meeting to your calendar. If these time suggestions are not good, please give me some guidance on how to find them and pick better times. Click thumbs down. You can check the status by going to the meeting details page. And it also allows you to change a few settings, but arguably not enough. So as you see, I can sign in with Microsoft or with Google because it does work with Google Calendar. So if you go to calendar.help, You can sign up for the preview phase. So at the moment, this is still in preview. You can schedule an online meeting with Teams. Things that you can say to Cortana include, help us book a 30-minute call, an hour for coffee at Starbucks, schedule Tuesday at 3 p.m. for us to Skype, things like that, and it will look for it. There's more FAQs here that I won't cover. So the final scenario that we'll go through is, what if you want a meeting with someone outside your organization and you want them to be able to choose something from a nice user interface? This is probably the one I use the most often. So this is using the Calendy tool. They can pick the day, pick the time. It does sync up to my calendar in either Google Calendar or Outlook. And then they can choose to confirm whichever time's available. As you can see, I have 30-minute increments. If I choose something closer to the time, you'll see that I have fewer time slots because those are the ones that are available. Once I choose it, I can just press confirm. I just need to put in my first, last name and email address, and then I can also optionally add guests. And then I have this that says reschedule to meet at meeting location. If not, where do you want to meet? And this is a custom thing that they can schedule an event for. So this feature is using Calendy. Another similar one that I like using is Microsoft Bookings. This other solution tackles the same sort of issue. This is using Microsoft Bookings. So it comes free with Office 365. And this allows me to choose a date and then choose a time. Again, it syncs up to my calendar and shows me when I'm available and not. Looks at 30-minute increments and asks me for my details, so I can put in my name, my email, and optional, where would you like to meet, whether it's online, default location, another location, then email me. So then the person can say book, and then it essentially sends both me and them a calendar invite for what I need. Finally, doodle.com does the same one, where you can just have a link to book a one-on-one, and it just has the open slots that you can see here. Calendy and Doodle, you can get to them from the website and then create a free account. Bookings comes from your app picker if you are an Office 365 customer over here. Key differences are that Bookings is the full package when you have Office 365, so it comes with no additional benefits that you need to pay for, but it's kind of less flexible and you need to rearrange bookings from the calendar. So you can't rearrange them from Outlook like you can with the other two, which is ironic given that this comes with Office 365. You can add an online Teams meeting to this. The other two you cannot for now. And just a couple of key things that to be aware of if you are going to use Bookings. Unintuitive, untick this, in my opinion. Make sure this is tick and untick this one. And then in services, then you can create services underneath each calendar. In services, the way that it does buffer time is really, really unintuitive. So set it up as 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after. I'll explain why in another video where I'll compare and contrast them in a lot more detail. And then here you can put the online invite. All right, so if you like this video, then please consider hitting the subscribe button if you want loads more videos on Office technology. Thanks for watching.